The book is The Fight of Our Lives. My Time with Zelenskyy, Ukraine's Battle for Democracy and What It Means for the World. And certainly Ukraine has been atop the news, but what do we know really? You probably more than me, but I don't know very much at all, which is why we reached out to the author of this book. She's Julia Mendel, and talk about having a front row seat. She was the first press agent for President Zelenskyy and joins us on the program now. What an interesting ride it's been for you.
Absolutely. Very exhausting, but the most exciting position in my life. Actually, I don't know if you read the book, but Zelenskyy was the first president to open this position, and there were 4,000 applicants, and I won this position. And I think there was one question that defined the choice of the president. He asked me about my motivation. And I said that if he, a just ordinary man from some region of Ukraine, can become the president of the country, and me, just a journalist from another region and poor background, can become his press secretary, we can build a Ukrainian dream, actually, where everyone can achieve whatever he or she wants. And I think that was the defining answer when he understood that he will choose me as his press secretary.
And from everything I've read of you, I think it was an excellent choice on his part.
You're very kind.
But you never could have been prepared for the things that would happen, not the least of which Putin deciding he wants his toys back. But along with that, President Trump withholding money from the Ukraine to get Zelenskyy and others to denounce certain parts of American politics. And going back to even before that, I was very curious how you reacted when, okay, you get the job as press secretary. Zelenskyy becomes the president of the country. The guy that lost didn't get the memo, and he's still holding press conferences and things on TV like he still got the job. What do you do there? How do you say to the guy, no, we're going to need the keys to the building?
Yeah, that's the thing. The previous president was still playing the role of the alternative president, and that was very tough. Also, he owned the whole social media infrastructure and was actually repeating some practices of Russian propagandists by attacking us and creating, different images of different members of President Zelenskyy's team online. Like, for instance, when I could look at Julia Mendel online, I didn't recognize this person. There was so much of propaganda and lies from both Russia and our opposition. But the interesting thing that Zelenskyy never fought with the previous president. He was always looking at this a little bit annoyed, but at the same time, like, you don't go to fight somebody's personal ambitions that he failed to complete. Mm-hmm. And right now there is, of course, there is the unification because of war, but this is how democracy works. In Russia, if you see, there are no, huge opposition, and one president sits there for over 23 years with one person. So we agree that, yes, there is the political battle, but this is the democracy, right?
For a long time, it was apparent that Mother Russia wanted Ukraine back. They made no secrets about that. But an actual invasion, at least to a casual observer here on the outside, didn't seem like something that was imminent. And then the next thing you know, it happens. Were you, as Ukrainians, taken off guard by the actual military strike?
I don't think, Mother Russia, who thought about that metaphor? It's Russians who try to say that they are Mother Russia. Kyiv was the first city created in Kievan Rus in 9th century. Moscow appeared in 16th century. Why Moscow can be mother? Tell me that. It's more abusive relations. It's like kidnapping. It has nothing with relations of a mother and a child. And Ukraine has always been a country for freedom and independence. We get out all people who try to repeat any dictator practices. Ukraine is the biggest territory of freedom and the biggest territory of democracy in post-Soviet region, and definitely this irritates Putin very much. And that's what I describe actually in my book, The Fight of Our Lives. I described that we were trying to build a thriving democracy. It was a difficult and chaotic path. But you know what? I was talking to one person from occupied territories. And when you live everyday life, you probably notice some not good road or not occupied hospital or not equipped hospital, and you think, okay, that bad. But then when Russians came to that region and started stealing toilets and washing machines, this person said, my God, now I see how much we achieved. Ukrainians are more developed, more educated, more free, more open-minded. And of course, Putin cannot allow this to happen. So this is why he tries to eliminate us, to erase us as a nation, and to build his autocracy in all post-Soviet space.
Sadly, as we speak, this battle continues. But quite often, we're hearing more and more in the news of pushbacks by Ukrainian military and Ukrainian forces, which also include, sadly, your fiance had to go fight as well. So the drive and the push, it seems like definitely an underdog situation. What keeps driving your people to push back?
My now husband has been safely returned, thanks God.
Oh, good.
Yes. Our people have big motivation. Our people are fighting not only for our land. Our people are fighting for the choice to be a democratic country. Our people fight for values, for homes, for families. And we stand against this absolutely brutal vision of the world that is not common for Ukrainians. We're not going to obey to an autocracy. This is in our soul, and this is our identity. Russia made us targets, but we are not victims. We are fighters. We are fighting back, and we will fight to the very end. The counteroffensives were very successful. And they show to the world that we can give Russia a fight back. We just need the world to stay united as much as it's needed, because we need weapons, we need support, we need training, we need to align standards with the NATO countries. We want to be the part of the free world because we belong to the free world. And that's what is our biggest motivation. But the issue is, I don't know if you read the latest news, the Russians returned the practices of World War II, genocidal practices. We found the mass grave where there are 440 bodies, and this is only one small deoccupied town in Kharkiv region. How many of these mass graves are there? We cannot imagine. There are 10 torture rooms. Imagine what people are going through in occupation. There is 1.2 million of Ukrainians who stay in occupation right now. We need to hold Russia accountable for all those horrors. If it's never again, then we need to stick and don't allow this to happen.
What will it take? Do you see an end to this?
Of course, I don't think, Ukraine understands that Putin tries to make the wars long so that people feel fatigue. We don't want to make this war long. We try to regain as much as possible territories before the winter, because the war in winter is different and more difficult. We don't think that we will regain everything, but we will see what will happen after this. And Ukraine sticks to the plan to take back all the territories. We believe that it's possible to do.
You are an extraordinary human being. I am so glad you shared this story with us. And as a former press secretary for President Zelenskyy and now a journalist, we have a term here in the United States where we say you wouldn't eat sausage if you saw how it was made. So having spent that kind of time in politics, might you have political aspirations of your own?
You know, during the war, I did not think about this for the reason that right now my own goal is to contribute as much as possible to have Ukraine a free country. As soon as we understand that we're independent, we're secure, we have strong army, we, rebuild the country, it's about contribution, not about position.
Julia, I would vote for you. I'll just tell you that right now, as many times as you want me to. Thank you so much for the time. What an extraordinary story.
Well, enjoy the book, The Fight of Our Lives, and thank you for having me, John.
Anytime. And again, the book is The Fight of Our Lives, My Time with Zelenskyy, Ukraine's Battle for Democracy and What It Means for the World, and an inside look. We'll have more on the Big 550 KTRS.